In this video, I'll cover a basic walkthrough of how to use resend in a PHP application. You can see here I've got just a very basic PHP application. It's simply got an index.php file and just composer.json and get ignored. So nothing much going on here. First thing to do is to install the resend SDK. So I'll open up my terminal and install that package, which will also install everything we need for our application. Now, if I come back over here, you'll notice that we've now got a composer lock file that points to our package, the resend PHP SDK. Now, inside the index file, I want to include the composer autoload file to load the resend SDK classes. So I'll require this directory, vendor autoload.php. Now, what this will do is load everything I need from this autoload file, which will include everything from my resend package. Next, I'll create a new variable called resend where I'll assign a new resend client instance. Now you'll notice here we've got a sample API key passed in, but we need to have something from our own account. So let me jump over to the resend dashboard and create an API key. Okay, so here I am in the resend dashboard. I can simply click create API key, and let's call this something like PHP example, and then we'll leave it at full access and all domains, and I'll just click add. Now you can only see this key once. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. You should rotate these keys as general best practice, and you also don't want to share this with anyone else because it gives them access to your full application. So that's why I've blurred mine out. Now, of course, you want to follow best security practices and not send this along up with your Git commits. So you probably want to have this in an env file or something like that. But for now, this should work for our basic example. Next, we need to actually use the call to send an email using our account. Next, I'll declare a variable called result, where we'll pick off the send method from resend emails. Now, there's several things we need to add here. I'll add the most basic, and that is a from address, a to address, a subject, and an HTML. I've just copied these over from the docs, and you'll notice a few things about them. Number one, I'm sending it not from a custom domain, but from a testing domain at resend.dev. That's also where I'm sending it to. And then let's go ahead and just capture the result of this try catch. So here I'll echo the result to JSON. Now there's obviously more we want to do here, like use our own custom domain, but let's start by spinning up the server with PHP, and we'll hit that endpoint to send off the first email. So in my terminal here, I'll use the PHP command to spin up a server at port 8000. Now, as soon as I hit that server endpoint, I should get back an ID. That's from the email that's just been sent. Now, because we sent to a testing domain, we can't check our own email address, but I can check the resend dashboard to ensure that the email has actually gone out. So here I'm just viewing the emails tab, and it shows me here, it looks like I hit it twice. I delivered this email. You'll notice it's from onboarding at resend.dev and to delivered at resend.dev, and here's the actual preview. Now, if there's plain text, I can check that, or HTML. We also have insights as well that walk you through things you could do to improve deliverability. Now, obviously, we don't want to send from a testing account to a testing email address. So let's add our own custom domain, and then we can send anywhere we want, including our own email address. So under domains here, I'm going to click add domain. You'll see here that we typically recommend using subdomains. This protects your reputation. Now, you don't have to have something actually living on the web at like transactional.example or whatever your domain happens to be. All we're doing is telling email clients where this email is coming from. By scoping it to a subdomain, you can kind of scope off your reputation. And typically, you want these subdomains to be descriptive in some way. Let's go ahead and use then marketing. And I've got the chris@resend.com account. And you can choose from a variety of different regions, but I'll just keep it North Virginia. You should just pick the one that's closest to your end users. And then I'll click add domain. Now, depending on which DNS provider you're using, you'll either need to manually add your DNS records like this, where you copy one over at a time, or if you're using something like Cloudflare, they'll actually do a lot of this for you. If you just click sign into Cloudflare, it will load your dashboard, show you the records it wants to add, and with one click, you've authorized it. Now, this will kick you back to the resend dashboard, which will then start looking for those DNS records to propagate across the internet. And typically, propagation takes anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours, but the reason we're doing this is because we want to authorize resend to send emails on your behalf. This protects your reputation because email inbox providers check these records to ensure that whatever emails they're receiving from you are actually from you. So once we verify our domain, you can now send to anywhere else you want, including your own email inbox. So in my case, this took about 3 minutes, but now I can send from this custom domain. So back over here, let's change this. We'll say like PHP Chris. And I'll change this to Chris, and then we'll use my custom subdomain of marketing.chris-resend.com. Now, this also means I can send anywhere I want to, so I'm going to send it to my own email address, chris@resend.com. Now, just to mix this up, we'll say like PHP hello world, so we know it came from this particular one. So let's hit this endpoint again to send an email. So I'll refresh the page, which should send the email to me again, and I'll get a new ID. And then I'll jump back in and check out my emails. Here you can see right here, less than a minute ago, I now got this from my custom subdomain. You'll see I sent it to chris@resend.com. Of course, it's cool to see this in the dashboard, but wouldn't it be better to actually see it in my own email inbox? Let's check it out. So in my email inbox, you can see I've got it showing up right here. And if I click reply here, you'll see it's coming from and returning to chris@marketing.chris-resend.com. Now, there is a little bit of trouble here in that I don't actually have an email inbox that can receive emails here. So there's one more thing we want to do in the call, which is to add a custom reply to email address. So over here in the call, we're simply going to use reply_to like this. And in this case, what I want to do is pick my own custom email address that I want them to reply to. So here, let's just keep it simple, and I'll say that they can reply to chris@resend.com. Now this will change that to where when somebody hits reply, it will go to this email address instead of this custom one where I sent it from. So let's hit the endpoint one more time and then check our email inbox. So I'll refresh the page and get a new ID. And now if I jump over to my email inbox, you'll see I've got the same email, but if I click reply, it now replies to chris@resend.com. So it's changed the actual reply to because of the call we just put in. Well, this is obviously a very basic example of PHP. We actually also have implementations with Laravel and other popular PHP frameworks. If you're interested in videos on that, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy sending.